Susie Sunbeam was not her real name. That was Susan Brown. Hello, welcome to the McGuffey's online tutor. Today's lesson comes from the McGuffey's second Eclectic reader, the revised edition, Lesson 12, Susie Sunbeam. This lesson has 20 vocabulary words, and I will define them as they are used in this lesson. They are brightness, the state or quality of being bright. Pleasant, giving or affording pleasure or enjoyment. Dress, an outer garment for women and girls. Playmates, a companion in play or recreation. Unkind, lacking kindness, inconsiderate, or unsympathetic. Ragged, tattered, frayed, or torn. Child, a son or daughter who has not attained maturity or legal authority. Word, to speak. Name, a word or words by which an entity is designated and distinguished from others. Gave, past tense of give. Questions, an expression of inquiry that invites or calls for a reply. Susie, a common female name. Sunbeam, a beam or ray of sunlight. Learned, acquired by experience. Smil'ing, a facial expression characterized by turning up the corners of the mouth, usually shows pleasure or amusement. Crowed, to utter an articulate cry of pleasure. Cheered, to make happier or more cheerful. Gladness, experiencing or exhibiting joy and pleasure. Unless, except for. Gate, an opening in a wall or fence for entrance or exit. Listen carefully for these words as I read the lesson and write down at least 5 of them. Susie Sunbeam. Susie Sunbeam was not her real name. That was Susan Brown. But everyone called her Susie Sunbeam because she had such a sweet, smiling face and always brought brightness with her when she came. Her grandfather first gave her this name, and it seemed to fit the little girl so nicely that soon it took the place of her own. Even when a baby, Susie laughed and crowed from morning till night. No one ever heard her cry unless she was sick or hurt. When she had learned to walk, she loved to go about the house and get things for her mother, and in this way save her as many steps as she could. She would sit by her mother's side for an hour at a time and ask her ever so many questions, or she would take her new book and read. Susie was always pleasant in her play with other children. She never used an unkind word, but tried to do whatever would please her playmates best. One day, a poor little girl with a very ragged dress was going by, and Susie heard some children teasing her and making fun of her. She at once ran out to the gate and asked the poor little girl to come in. "What are you crying for?" Susie asked. "Because they all laugh at me," she said. Then Susie took the little girl into the house. She cheered her up with kind words and gave her a nice dress and a pair of shoes. This brought real joy and gladness to the poor child, and she too thought that Susie was rightly called Sunbeam. Did you write down at least 5 words? Share the words with a friend or a family member. God gives unique gifts to all people, like Susie Sunbeam. God gifted Susie Sunbeam with a cheerful, bright, and pleasant personality. It is always good to be around those gifts. That is the lesson for today. Thanks for visiting McGuffey's onlinetutor.com. Peace be with you. See you soon.